Tonight we're talking about partners across borders. And as everybody knows, globalization is really a trend in what's going on in business now. So we're fortunate to have with us a very distinguished panel of experts in the area of globalization. They all bring a different perspective. We have with us today Lillian Pin. Lillian is the Director of Investment Quebec, Chicago's office. She facilitates international investment projects for companies in the Midwest and new business opportunities in North America, specifically in Quebec. We have with us Timo Rybak. Timo is a partner in the law firm of Barnes & Thornburg and a member of the firm's corporate department. He's also the chair of the firm's European practice group and a member of the New York Law Practice Group. He is also with the American Bar Association's Transnational Legal Practice Team, and he focuses on matters of domestic and international corporate law. We also have with us today Anja Petschauer, who's the marketing director for Saarland Economic Promotion Corporation, Germany. Anja is currently the marketing director. Her mission is acting as the investment promotion agency for the German federal state of Saarland, and she serves companies throughout all of their stages of relocation to Germany. She's very well connected in Germany. You'll find an assortment of accents up here on our panel today, and you'll also find them out in the audience. So we've truly got a global group here.
Actually, what we do is very similar to what Quebec does, and I'm really happy that we're not loads of Europeans to here today, because then everybody would explain why he is in the heart of Europe. We actually are. The Saarland is one of the 16 federal states in Germany, and we are bordering France and Luxembourg. So you have the state with in the prosperous center of the European Union. What we do is we support investors, so we are just for the incoming business. We support investors for the whole process of relocation and FDI. As GW SAR, Economic Promotion Agency for Saarland, we do go one step further. We have set up a holding company which combines the promotion with the whole process of real estate and industrial sites. So we actually own real estate, we own business parks, we own industrial sites, we develop them, and that gives us a little bit another view on how we deal with customers and how we deal with clients.
Everyone knows going global is a process. Companies just don't wake up one day and become global companies. Going global isn't really for all companies. Some companies it does not make sense for. So they have to make that decision first before they can start the process. So what do you think the key factors are in making the decision to expand to another country? Anja, can I ask you to start us off?
Yeah, certainly. Thank you for the question. I think the most important thing to look at is the accessibility of the market. That should be excellent. So you have to do, and don't misunderstand me, but you have to do your homework. You have to know what kind of business you have, what kind of business you want to make abroad, and what you want to approach and what you want to achieve. Mm-hmm. So that should be your first approach. And you have to know your market. Say that the next step is all about location. If you have done your homework, that will bring you far. I mean, then you know, do I need a partner? Do I need do I need certain facilities? Do I need where are my customers? How do I reach them? And out of that, it will narrow down where you want to go. And location, infrastructure, big issue. You want to be somewhere where your customers are and where you can reach them easily. So that's I think the most important first step, to know what you want to do there, what's your project. And then the second one is to approach companies or associations like ourselves and to get the access to the answers you have in this whole case.
You got to think about it this way. Your companies look into a market that they simply don't know. And as a result of that, you don't know the questions that you ought to be asking. As a result of that, it is absolutely critical that if you go to a different market, you talk to people like these fine ladies representing these institutions, because they do this for a living, right? They will ask you the questions that have never been at the front of your mind. You know, it could be a different accounting system, real estate, or legal or employment situation, where simply you go in with your business model, what has worked for you at home, and you simply want to copy that or copy paste in a different country. I will guarantee you that is a bad approach. That is going to fail. So I just want to emphasize. I just wanted to emphasize how important it is that one of the first things you have to do is reach out, because otherwise, when you set out a structure, something like this, you're wasting your time.
So what are the first steps when they decide on an expansion? Lillian?
Sure, thanks Anne for this question. I think the first step, like we've mentioned before, is definitely to have a good business plan. Like you have a business already, it's going well, you're looking to expand, what's my next step? Really understand what you're looking to achieve somewhere else. Have your market analysis, have your operational plan, your marketing plan, have your financial plan as well. Know your product or know your service that you want to bring somewhere else, to be able to actually think about where you want to locate. And once you're at that place where you have everything put together and you know where you want to locate, that's when you meet people like us, you do your due diligence, and then you start the process of, registering your company. That would be the first step into entering into a place or a region. So I think that's the first few steps is really talking to professionals, making sure you're at the right place, have your business plan, and when you're sure, you go.
Anya?
The business plan, everything, you have to set that up, but every step you go is depending on what you are doing and what you are looking for. Like we say, this organization is all about partnering. Some businesses are depending on the right partner, and that will bring you to the way where to go. Like we just had relocated a firm from a company from the US called Optimus, who is they design screws. Yeah, there's companies like that. So that's an engineering company who does specific solutions for clients for specific screws in all kinds of stuff, a lot of automotive. So what they needed was actually a factory, a production line, which can bring their engineering into life, which can produce what they designed. So we were happy to have two of these companies around, and they partnered with them. So they now come for their European business, will come to the Saarland, set up their facility there, and partner with the two companies. Even have a backup if one is not available, or which are already on site. So I think that is one example, but you can also, recruitment is a big thing. It's very important is getting talent. The combat about talent is getting more and more serious, especially in Germany. So you will have to look how to deal with that. What kind of people do you need who can help you to find that people? Where would you find that people? Like in our case, we have the French border, so you can have two labor markets. You have not only the German labor market, which is kind of tight in the moment, but you have the French labor market, which has a much higher unemployment rate, so you can have the best of both sides. So, and this all is depending on your project, so it's always hard to say this is where we nail it down.
Actually, Lillian, how many people come to you that are not prepared with that good business plan?
Oh, I would have to say most clients that I meet, and I think one of the biggest pitfalls that I've noticed, especially being in Quebec and, you know, Canada being so close, a lot of US companies come to us and they're like, well, this is like the 51st state. I don't need, like, exactly what Timo said. I don't need a business plan. I'm just gonna copy paste. So, yeah, definitely like, but that's what we do. That's what we're here for. So they come to us and that's what we're here for.
Okay, good. So Timo?
I think there are two things I'd like to add to this. Part of the business plan is understanding the market. Imagine you're in the business of manufacturing these screws, right? In the US, you've got your distribution network, or you've got dealers, whatever. You have one way or another that has proven itself for you to be a player. In another market, that may not exist, right? So at some point, you go, all right, we sold $5 million worth of product into this market, and we know we can double that. But how do we do it? You have to go in and see what are the commercial structures there. Is it similar? If so, how do we access it? So that's really homework you got to do up front. And then in terms of this labor issue, I cannot stress it enough. Most companies go, oh, I've heard we're going to get land, or we get cash incentives, and now we're going to go into no man's land because we got all this land and all this cash. That is fantastic. But now you put in equipment for $10 million to manufacture your screws. But there's not one employee who's trained to operate the machine. Well, that's a really good investment, right? So those things all go hand in hand, and unfortunately, you have to do them somewhat at the same time. It is a big task.
Yeah.
So, back to Anya, what kind of support can they expect from the local government, not your agency, but the local government in general, when they want to expand?
Well, what I hear in this question is what kind of subsidies can we get? Let me put it that way. If you, in this subject, America and going abroad is totally different. If a company in the United States changes its location and goes into another state, this is always money driven. You know, I mean, you get better tax issues, you get a subsidy. If you go abroad, it should always be market driven. To be successful, it should be market driven. That's what Timo pointed out. It doesn't make sense to look for the low cost solution because it may not bring you to your goal. It might not support your goal. I think that's the one thing. Then you have in Europe, the whole subsidy system is put together in a totally different way. Whereas in the US, you would say you get the most subsidies from the states, which are really strong, and they can pay the subsidies because they are that strong. So in Europe, you have to see the subsidies are regulated by the European Union, by the Commission. And they actually support not only the company, but their goal is to support the regions which give the subsidies. So you get the most subsidies of the regions which are the worst off. I mean, which just are not so strong, which have not the capabilities you will find in stronger regions. In stronger regions, you're actually, by the European Union, by the regulation, not allowed to give the subsidies. So that's totally different. Yeah.
You just heard something really important. The location that will give you the richest package is the one you want to stay away from. Why do they give it to you? Because they're so desperate for that business. All right, so you got to weigh that.
In Europe, though.
I said in Europe. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So totally different approach.
From what I've seen, where the biggest value is these guys are approachable and they're trying to help you get it done. And on every project, no matter how good your business plan is, there will be an unexpected hurdle. It could be that you need a certain amount of power, right? Now you're dealing with utilities.
Yeah.
So they're the matchmakers. They will go and say, hey, look, we need this much power, or you need a certain skilled labor. They'll figure out how the labor pool will be tailored to just your needs. And I think these are the soft skills that are the most important, because by yourself, you'll never get that done.